Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of CJ's Coins and Crafts. This is episode 45 of our US Commemorative Series. This one is covering the 1936 San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge half dollar. When the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge opened in 1936, it allowed motorists for the first time to get quickly and easily from San Francisco to Oakland. Ferries had operated across San Francisco since 1851, but a bridge was far more convenient for automotive drivers. Politics, engineering, and financing had blocked earlier proposals dating back to the 1870s. The wind and currents of the bay and lack of bedrock to build upon were believed to by some to make such a bridge impossible. It was not until the 1930s, with support of President Herbert Hoover, that the Reconstruction Finance Corporation agreed to purchase construction bonds backed by future tolls. Unlike many early commemoratives that were struck to mark an anniversary, the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge half dollar was struck in order to celebrate a present day engineering achievement. A bill for the commemorative half dollar honoring the opening of the Bay Bridge was introduced in the Senate by Hiram Johnson of California on April 10th, 1936, and was referred to the Committee on Banking and Currency. The Banking Committee reported back on the bill with a favorable recommendation, suggesting that the minimum of coins to be drawn at any one time increased from 5,000 to 25,000. The Senate considered six commemorative bills in a row on June 1st. Four, including the Bay Bridge bill, passed without any discussion. A bill for the commemorative Bay Bridge coin was introduced into the House of Representatives by Albert E. Carter of California on April 21st, 1936, and was referred to the Committee on Coinage, Weights, and Measures. John Cochran of Missouri reported that bill back on April 23rd with a pass recommendation. He brought the bill to the House floor on May 27th, where Robert Rich of Pennsylvania noted that this was about the 35th coinage bill to come forward that year, and suggested that, quote, we place on one side of the coin the face of Mr. Farley, Democratic National Committee man, and then turn over the coin and place on the other side of it the face of Mr. Farley, the New York City Committee man. Then when you flop coins, you always have the head of a Farley, end quote. Rich did not object, and the House passed the bill without further debate. On June 18th, Cochran informed the House that each body had passed a different bill and asked that the Senate bill be considered. It was passed without debate, which called for 200,000 coins and signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt on June 26th, 1936. On July 20th, Frank Havner, chair of the San Francisco Citizens Celebration Committee, wrote to Assistant Director of the Met, Mary O'Reilly. Havner had some procedural questions, sent information on the selected artist for the coin, Jock Shiner, and enclosed photographs of the chosen design. These were sent to the Commission of Fine Arts with a July 31st reply from Charles Moore, relaying the suggestion that the lettering in the design be made larger. After the plaster models were completed, the CFA met on September 15th to consider the design. Moore sent a letter to O'Reilly stating that the bear's nose was unlike that of a grizzly and supplied images for Schneier's use in revising it. There was an ongoing discourse regarding inclusion and placement of e pluribus, or liberty, as well as placement of In God We Trust. Schneier modified his designs, and approval was received by the CFA. The models were sent to the Medallic Art Company of New York to be reduced to coin-size hubs. The obverse of the coin depicts a grizzly bear, as it was stated that the model for the bear was Monarch II, who lived in a cage for about 26 years in Golden Gate Park. 4 stars are seen, 1 to the left of the bear and 3 to the right, that were not on Schneier's original sketch and lacked any symbolic meaning. The San Francisco mint mark flanks the bear on the left with the artist's initials on its right. The other side of the coin depicts the bridge as observed from the San Francisco side. The ferry building on the Embarcadero is in the foreground, with the Yerba Buena Island in mid bay, and the Berkeley Hills of the East Bay are seen in the distance. The name of the bridge and the date of striking ring around the depiction. A total of 100,055 Bay Bridge half dollars were struck at the San Francisco Mint in November 1936, with 55 pieces set aside for transmission to Philadelphia for examination and testing at the 1937 annual meeting of the Assay Commission. The first 200 coins were reserved for presentation reasons. Of these 22 that were not presented were sold to collectors with documentation of their early striking. Only half of the authorized mintage of 200,000 was struck. The Bay Bridge had opened on November 12th, 1936, with a celebration that continued for 3 days, but the coins arrived too late for it and went on sale about a week later. Distribution of the coins was handled by a group of banks known as the San Francisco Clearinghouse Association, or the coins could be purchased by mail from celebration organizers' offices on Market Street for $1.65 each. Booths were set up near the bridge entrances, which for motorists could purchase the new coin for $1.50 without needing to leave their vehicles. This was the first time that a commemorative coin had been made available on a drive-in basis. In late January 1937, Lawrence Giannini, head of the finance committee distributing the coins, announced that the sales would end on February 15th, and the remaining coins would be returned to the mint for melting. A total of 71,369 half dollars were sold, and the remainder of 28,631 were returned to the mint and melted. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you guys like this content, please hit the like. If you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe. Share out for others that you think might enjoy this content. And we'll see you on the next one. And thanks for watching.